On the darting planet, Luke Littler brushed aside Stephen Bunting 6-0 with a mere 109.98 average in the quarter-finals. He then saw Rob Cross and made serene progress through to yet another weekly night final. For Luke Humphries, he saw Chris Dobey, the local crowd favourite, 6-3 in round one, and then he saw the adopted crowd favourite Nathan Aspinall in the semi-finals, 6-5, winning a last leg shootout, averaging well over 106. Chris Mason alongside myself, Mark Wilson, and only fair that once again we see the best two players in the planet battling it out for another weekly win in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought that was a really good performance from Humphries, and he's going to have to replicate that kind of level of play to get anything out of his match against Littler. We've already seen comprehensively take out Bunting 6-0 with a near 110 average, so that's the task at hand. But they met 2 weeks ago in a quarter-final, Littler winning that 6-4. They met 2 weeks before that, Humphries won that one 6-4. They met 2 weeks before that in a final of the Premier League, and Littler won that one 6-5. Overall, it's 10-7 in favour of Littler, but very little to choose between them. Looking through all of the metrics, it's all very, very close, probably with the exclusion of 180s.
Yeah, well, that is the metric that is dominated by Luke Littler, who's broken through the century barrier for the season. I'd be interested what the line would be on how many he's going to get in the rest of the campaign. Well, what we do know is that Littler and Humphries are going to extend their lead at the top. That cranks up the pressure on Van Gerwyn, Price, Cross and Aspinall. And I guess we can still, for the moment, include Chris Dobey in that conversation, albeit he's very much on the outside looking in. These two pulling clear as they have done, it gives them options, doesn't it, in the weeks ahead? You know, options as to maybe how they plan their weeks around, or how seriously they take it serious all the time, but mentally they'll know they've one foot in the playoffs, and that's going to be a big help for them.
Absolutely, and you're right. It's how much emphasis they give on a given night. Their approach will be totally different once they know. I mean, they're pretty much there. It's just about dotting the I's and crossing the T's. But listen, make no mistake, they want to win it, because there is a bonus, of course, of winning the league phase of it, and of course there's a lot of money on offer for winning the whole thing. But yeah, finishing the top of the league is a big thing for the players. But like you say, they'll be able to relax a little bit more and play with a bit more freedom, because it's not imperative that they do win. No,
it's not. You are listening to the Premier League Darts live on talkSPORT 2 in partnership with Village Hotels. Pack more into a breakaway at Village. Visit villagehotels.com. We're awaiting the two players to come out onto the stage. It was interesting. We mentioned that Luke Humphries beat Chris Dobey, the local favourite. The fans were all on the side of Nathan Aspinall. I have never heard that before, that when a player hits a double, as Humphries did there was just silence. There was absolute silence. It was like someone had switched the crowd off.
Yeah, it's strange, that sort of football element to it, isn't there? They certainly sort of pass on their support to a player that's beaten another player that they were supporting. But listen, there's still not a seat to be had. No one's gone home. They're all anticipating what should be a fantastic final, and like you say, rightly so, between the two Lukes, the two best players in the world. They'll be representing England, of course, in the World Cup later in the year. And I was having a joke the other day. I said, I wonder who's going to lose to them in the final. But of course, it's not a foregone conclusion. What we do know with the Welsh side, Clayton's sort of coming back to form, and there's some work to be done for Gerwyn Price, but them two do gel. So it'll be an interesting dynamic to see the two Lukes play together instead of against each other.
Yeah, it will. That further down the line, of course, lot to happen. It is a busy period with the European Tour action. Got two events in the next 4 weeks alone. Plenty of Players' Championship action to come. But tonight it's all about the Premier League, and it is the best two players on the planet are going head to head. Just have a look down the rest of the card tonight, Chris, if we may. Stephen Bunting, what's he think heading back home tonight?
No, it's another defeat, but it's another 100+ average, isn't it? Like, all right, it was very much a scoring average. He was limited to just 4 darts at a double in the whole match, and 3 of them were in one leg. A penny for his thoughts, I think, Mark. Listen, it's horrible to watch because he is such a likeable fella and a fabulous player, but there's always that risk. Listen, we know he's won big tournaments and he's won tournaments within the PDC, but this is such a massive step up, and it doesn't just test your darting ability, it tests your mettle as well, doesn't it? Because we've seen it so many times. Once you get cast off at the foot of the table, you see in all sports, don't you? Even in team sports, you see it. They're just deflated and defeated, and they don't know how to get themselves out of the slump. But I'd just like to see him treat it like, well, that's it now. It's done and dusted. That's my campaign over with. Let's have a bit of fun with it and be remembered for that, and hopefully not a guy that is remembered for not winning a match.
Yeah, well, we are at the halfway point after this match, and what we do know is that, well, Luke Littler's going to be top whatever happens in this final. He had a 6-point cushion coming into the night. The only question remaining tonight is, can Luke Humphries make a dent, a small one, into that lead at the top? You mentioned, we're seeing a lot of these two because they are the best 2 players at the moment. Out of the 6 that remain, or the 5 that remain behind them, we'll draw a line through Stephen Bunting. Who do you think will end up in the top 4, Chris?
Listen, Michael's game, although he was beaten this evening, his game don't look in too bad a shape. And listen, he's already got a 3-point lead over the person, which is Rob Cross. Him and Pricey are the 2 for me that's vulnerable. I don't think Humphries on 15 and Littler on 21 have anything to fear, because they're going to continue to make finals. They're going to continue to win weeks. I don't know. I think Cross and Aspinall have still got a shout in maybe getting the final place in 4th, but I don't know. I'm not convinced by Van Gerwen or Price at the moment, and they do play with an element of vulnerability. And again, if they start to then try and defend that position, that's when they become even more vulnerable for me.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, we're moments away from the final. Matt Wilson and Chris Mason live on talkSPORT 2 tonight. Thanks for joining us. #Darts on the radio. You might be watching on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page. We thank you for that. Please like and subscribe. Get involved with that one if you can. Friday night, Sheffield United take on Coventry live in the Championship. That'll be right here on talkSPORT 2. Then on Saturday, what a bumper weekend we've got for you. Fulham Palace, FA Cup quarter-final, 12:15. Live on talkSPORT. 12:30 start. Watford Plymouth live in the Championship. Faker Others, Alex Truck, and the former Chelsea striker Sam Park. In all the goals as they're going with Adrian Durham, Mickey Gray, Darren Ambrose, and Adrian Clark. That's on talkSPORT. Leeds Swansea's live from 3 on talkSPORT 2. And we round off Saturday. Brighton against Nottingham Forest, FA Cup quarter-final, live at 5:15. 5:30 start talkSPORT 2 Saturday. Live Super League as the Catalan Dragons take on St Helens. Sunday, more FA Cup action. Live at 1:30, Preston take on Aston Villa, and exclusively live, Bournemouth take on Manchester City from 4:30. Then Tuesday night, kick-off for Around the Grounds with Adrian Durham, Troy Deeney and Dean Ashton around the EFL and the Premier League as well. Plenty of action to come, plenty of darts action to come tonight. Littler against Humphries. Come on, Chris, give us your pick. Who are you going for?
Littler for me, and it's not this, it's not the easy way out. I just think he's just playing a superior level. That performance from Humphries is one of his better performances in recent times. I'm just having a look at a list I have of his recent games and have a look at those numbers. So that 106 tonight. Prior to that, a 96, a 96, a 101, a 102, a 99, a 97. So you have to go back to the 12th of March to find an average higher than the one he posted tonight, which is a great sign. But there has been very much a lull. He got to a final of a Players' Championship again on that day, but ended up losing in the final to Van Veen. yeah, it's been a while since he's picked up a pot. Let's put it that way. And listen, he'll be keen to try and get one over his rival tonight, because these two are going to be meeting a lot over the next 4 or 5, 6 years maybe. So you don't want to get on a bad run against a player, and he'll feel like he's got you in his back pocket.
Yeah, well, it's their third meeting in a final. It's 1-1 in finals. Littler won 6-5 in Glasgow. Humphries won 6-4 in Exeter. So there's little markers along the Premier League campaign, who can get the better of who. And look, the playoffs are a long, long way away. 29th of May. They're over 2 months away yet, Chris. And as we know in darts, one day can make a big difference, let alone a couple of months. So there's a lot's going to happen before we get to the O2 on that 29th of May. Yeah,
and absolutely. Listen, it's been a bit of a low-key time for a player of Humphries' ability, and you just felt that he'd just come off the top in terms of his high-level form. So this is big for him to just get to the final. It's within a week where he lost to Aspinall 6-1 in the quarterfinals of the Euro Tour. He lost to MVG, was it last week? Yeah, last week in the first round, 6-4. Then prior to that, I mean, he was on a streak of losing to Van Veen in the final, then losing to Littler in the quarterfinal, or the first game of the night in the Premier League. The following week, he's lost in the first game to Van Gerwen. So he needed to find a bit of a run, and maybe that run is tonight, and that'll take a little bit of the pressure off.
Yeah, it may well do. This is Littler's 6th final. He's 1-1, lost one, 1-1, lost one, 1-1. Is he going to lose one?
I like that.
Is that how it's going to go?
I like to follow patterns and numbers. But John McDonald will be announcing the 2 finalists.
Is our Newcastle final. Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands joining us live and the millions joining us around the world, it's time to welcome back our players. Ladies and gentlemen, firstly, would you please welcome the winner of 13 PDC titles, a Grand Slam champion, a UK Open champion, the reigning and defending Premier League champion, and the reigning champion of the world. It's Luke, the Duke.
Well, Littler started off the night with 2 maximums on his opening 2 visits. Well, actually, he started off his night by picking up a set of £30,000 gold darts. It's not been a bad evening as far as the evening goes in the Premier League.
Well, it could be a 40 grand night if he wins this next game.
Well, it's the same for this fella. He also got a 30,000 set of darts earlier on.
The reigning World Matchplay champion, the reigning World Cup champion, the winner of the Wimbledon World Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the former champion of the world, Luke
Look, Humphries looks pretty relaxed as he makes his way onto the stage. A warm and embrace. A fancy meeting you here tonight. Welcome between the two.
Yeah, he's coming on to I predict a riot. Well, he's got to be careful that Littler doesn't run riot. It's a big, big game. Both look really relaxed, and like you rightly said a little earlier, they both know each other's game inside out, so there'll be no real fear. It'll all be all about the start and who can get up and running and do some damage.
Yeah, might be a bit of a smash up this one.
Yes,
both
I hope
capable
so.
of posting the big numbers. We know that. That goes without saying these days. The crowd look like they've had a wow of a time. Well, Littler looks like he's just been asked to do some extra homework. Don't look overly happy, does he? Well, he was good at maths, surely.
Yeah, I bet he was. Currently, the two at the top of the table. The world number one, the world number two. And, well, as far as I'm concerned, the best two players in world darts right now.
Yeah, goes without saying. There's a very healthy respect between these two.
And they do tend to have good matches, I think.
Yeah.
They both play at a similar place. There's no histrionics. They just get on with it and just have a battle on the board, and afterwards it's done and dusted.
Yeah, that's what I like about the makeup of this Premier League. I think all 8 of them seem to just get on with it. There's no fiddling about, there's no messing about. 140 start Littler. Thanks for those who are watching along and listening along tonight. Maximum for Humphries to start the opening leg of the final.
Look at the response. You beauty. Have some of that.
How good is it watching and listening to darts right now? It is unbelievable, isn't it?
It is fabulous. I was watching the European tour at the weekend, and yeah, it's just, the game is in such a great space. And just when you think, well, maybe it's reached its ceiling, and well, other things and other players come along, but this is for an 11. Tops for a 12. Ooh, a chance for Humphries to break.
Yeah. And this will be a nice way to do it on the bullseye for an 87. Clip the wire.
Have we had one tonight?
I don't
A
think
ball
we
finish, I don't think we have we? So he doesn't miss double 10, does he?
No, he doesn't.
So despite the max, he did have a chance at the ball to get the break, and those chances we may be talking about in 10 minutes or so, and that may well be the difference between getting a win over Littler or getting thumped.
Yeah, that's it. 1-0 then Littler leads. He's in the red bit again. Only 140. This has got a bit of a feeling of blink and you'll miss it here. Littler's nicked the darts here. This could get away from him pretty quickly here, Luke Humphries.
Well, he has that ability to just reel off legs, doesn't he? Has these spells, and we've seen it in the Pro Tour, witnessed it firsthand, where he'll just sort of run off 11s and 12s and 13s in a little spell, and the next thing you know, you're at the game.
135 for Littler. He's down to 85. Humphries on 187. Not making any massive dents in it with his opening 2, but a ton leaves 87. But Littler for a 2-0 lead. Treble 15 for tops. It's the treble. It's the double. 2-0.
Real strong break of throw, and 2-0 could quickly become 3-0 with the darts. And well, we did say there is the risk of Littler running riot. At the moment, he is.
Yeah, well, Humphries predicted all right, and he's getting one. Just not the one he wanted. Leeds in action on talkSPORT 2. The battle for the championship title and promotion race continues on talkSPORT 2. Friday night, Sheffield United to get their goal. They take on Coventry, who are flying at the minute under Frank Lampard. Only a ton for Humphries. But Littler's 3.58 on his own throw. Humphries on 3.01. Good last start, Littler.
Yeah, down to 2.58, but Humphries only 43 points adrift, minus these. Treble 20s found and followed. Oh, very nearly a max, but a 1.35, and he looked disgusted because he's fully aware that that treble 5 means he's on 1.66, a bogey finish. But Littler's only 85, so he's only down to 1.73, so a real chance for Humphries to break.
Yeah, 2 visits from here. 80 scored, 98 scored to leave 68 when he comes back. 7.19 to leave tops. Well, that was a very safe last single to lead tops, but will he get a go? Oh, big 5, that is a disaster. It's 13 for ball for Humphries, and he's missed the ball, and he shakes his head in anger and frustration.
That's just the pressure Littler's putting him under, and listen, you say don't make a mistake. What's the first thing you do? Make a mistake. As predicted, 2-0, did become 3-0 on throw. And now Luke's Humphries, that is, has just got to watch he doesn't drop his head, because Littler will literally run over him.
Yeah, he's feeding on scraps at the moment, Humphries. Pressure applied affects even the best of them, and Humphries is right under it here. He's on 3.72 after 2 visits. But only 58 for Littler. That is a reprieve for Humphries. Got to get his head in the right space now.
And a look of absolute disgust from Littler. Some from Humphries down to 2.72. 3.47 Littler. He's at the hockey. Doesn't find a trouble with dart 1 or 2. Oh, wow. That was a bag of nails for him. Back-to-back visits that were, well, if I say they're absolutely normal, that was a compliment.
Yeah. I'd have been disappointed with those last 2 visits.
Yeah. He's down to 1.32, Humphries on throw. 3.02 Littler, rightly starting on the 18s. There's 2 trebles and a treble 20. 1.68 to leave 1.34.
1.32 there. This time he hits the ball. He might stay there. Oh, he did, and he couldn't find it. He's hit single 19, so 69 scored, leaves 63.
Correct.
Yeah, can add up, Chris, you know. Can add up, my friend. Now and again, anyway. Now and again.
Maybe treble 18 on dart 1. It was, but missed by a mile. Does recover with treble 20. Leaves tops just in case. Humphries fluffs his lines on 46, but he's got the single 14. Doesn't miss, doesn't hit the double 8, 16 or double 8. That is a disaster.
Luke Humphries is being nuked. 4-0.
Well, we haven't seen a bagel all season so far in the Premier League, and Littler might produce 2 of them in one night just to make a point.
Yeah, just because he can. Well, maybe he can, maybe he can't. He's only at 60 and Humphries is hitting him back. This is a good visit, 1.35. He's had that look about him all night, Luke Humphries. He had it earlier on in Nathan Aspinall's game. He's not happy with his score. He's not happy with something. Luke Littler's not happy with that because he hit 2 trebles and then his third dart dangled between the 2 that were in the board.
That's better from Humphries. Takes him down to 1.86. He trails 4-0 to Littler, who's at a 1.40 to take him down to 1.81. This is on the Littler throws, so the chance of a break here for Humphries. 2 single 20s. Gets a ton. That's okay. Down to 86. How much pressure is he going to be under when he takes on that 86? Well, only 60.
He does have legs like this in him, Luke Littler. Luke Humphries, 18 hit. He's going to be the ball again. Oh, exactly the same throw in the 19s.
No belief on the ball. Single 20 leaves 101. Single 17 leaves 84. Leaves double 15.
This has to go for Humphries. 31 needed. There's the 15 for double 8. Is that a marker? Oh, dearie me. He's missed again.
Double 15 for Littler for 5-0. Outside, inside. Wow. Double trouble for both.
Double 4 for a leg on the board. This time Humphries finds it. He's had a lucky escape there, that is for sure.
Yeah, it's not lived up to our expectations in terms of a match. But it is 4-1. Littler averaging 92. Humphries is 92. Make a note of that. Something you don't see very often. So after getting the break, 60s followed by 59. Littler with a 140 can really take control of the leg, but he's come up dry with just 60.
Yeah, it's just levelled off the scoring completely. I say levelled off, it's fallen off a cliff at the minute. Littler on 301, Humphries down to 242. We're on the Humphries throw. Littler's at the board now. Littler leads 4-1 live on talkSPORT 2 and the talkSPORT Darts YouTube page. Lots of people watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. Humphries on 142. Littler on 161. Wrong side of the treble 20 wire. Treble 5 and 2 single 19s.
This is very much a bit of an off game for Littler at the moment. So Humphries is waiting on 52. Littler 108. Treble 17. The single leaves tops. Good inch high.
Well, this to move within 2. Single 20 for double 16. Double 8. He has been shocking down that area of the board in this final.
Let me just have a look.
He's had darts in every leg bar in the second leg. Tops for Littler leads 5-1.
Yeah, his doubling stats is shocking. It's 1 from 10. Famous UB40 song, of course, 1 in 10.
Is it?
Yeah.
One of my regular listens, I've got to be honest.
Do you know what that record was about? 1 in 10 people was unemployed.
Ah, okay.
And a UB40 is a form you used to fill in to get benefits or something.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Don't mind a bit of UB40. I'm not a regular follower. It's every day's a school day with you, Mace.
There you go. Useless information, but never know, might come up on a quiz.
They do.
So Littler 5-1 up, down to 206. Humphries 276, finds the lipstick, follows it, and gets a max. And we'll be back at 96 on Littler's throw, who's going to go low himself. He's down to 106.
Yeah, this to prolong it then. 96 for Humphries. 76 needed. He went double-double.
Yep. Double 19, double 19. I don't like that.
Well, 106 Littler. This to win the match in style. 86 needed. Now he needs double 16 for a 6-1 win. And it's an annihilation. A puff of the cheeks from Luke Humphries. It wasn't going to be his night tonight. We knew that pretty early on when he fell to a 4-0 deficit. But Luke the Nuke playing in his 5th consecutive weekly final. It's his 4th weekly final win already. He's at 50% when it comes to winning in the Premier League, and the champion showing no signs he's in any kind of mood to relinquish his title just yet. It's week 8 in the Premier League. It's done and dusted. We're out at the halfway point. The final, not what we expected numbers wise. 93 average apiece there. 40% on the doubles for Littler, 10% for Humphries. Never going to beat the Nuke in that kind of form, but it's job done for Luke Littler, who wins again and extends his lead at the top. I think, well, you say you can pencil him in for the playoffs. I think you can get your permanent marker out. He's going to be at the O2 come the end of May, make no bones about that. Humphries will more than likely be with him, but he's starting to let them know on a regular basis now that he's the man they're all going to beat if they've got to win. They're going to win this Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's back-to-back weeks for Littler, and that makes me even more confident in the choice to opt out of playing in the European Tour, because just tonight, for me, Humphries looks like he could do with 2 weeks in the sun somewhere, turn his phone off and just forget about darts and then come back and go again. But of course, once you commit to this campaign, and he was a player that did travel to Gothenburg at the weekend, and so he's finished here last Thursday, then flown out to Germany, then a long drive or train to the venue and the hotel, and he just looks jaded to me, and he might be just playing too much darts.
I think it's one to keep an eye on for us. The one you mentioned earlier about Littler's had a couple of weeks off already, and it's starting to prove on the Premier League table as he extends his lead yet further. Certainly one, I think, you love your stats. I think it's one you need to keep an eye on and see how he performs after a week off. Because
on the train on the way in tomorrow, I'm actually going to do a comparison of the week after playing a European event, and then the week after when he doesn't, because he wasn't really pushed in that game. We don't know what he had in the locker there, but
he hasn't been pushed all night, has he? Truth be told,
no, he hasn't. It was 6-0 in the first match of the night, and then 6-1 in that one, and an okay performance in the middle. But listen, he just looks fresher than everybody else. He's dropped just 4 legs tonight.
Yeah, beat Stephen Bunting 6 legs to an average 109.98. Then he beat Rob Cross 6-3 again without really breaking sweat, and then he wraps up the final 6 legs to 1 over Luke Humphries again. Yes, Humphries missed darts throughout that game, but never really felt that Humphries was going to test him. It's another stroll in the park in the Premier League for Luke Littler. He is another winner tonight, and he extends that lead now. He'll move on to 26 points. 8 points clear he'll be at the summit of the Premier League. He could have 2 weeks off, and he's probably 99% certain he'll still be top when he comes back. Next week they go to Berlin, the Uber Arena. Aspinall, Bunting, Humphries, Cross, Dobey, Littler, Van Gerwyn, Price, as the bandwagon hits Europe. Berlin, Manchester, Rotterdam and Liverpool the next 4 weeks. It's starting to get exciting. The Germans next week will be going crazy for the Premier League, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just such a great thing when you start to go into that sort of European leg, the second half of the Premier League, and you see these absolutely incredible venues. It's satisfying and pleasing. It's great to see people all around the globe enjoying our wonderful sport. There's nothing like those big European Thursday nights when there's 15,000 in all cheering for the darts. It's fabulous.
It is indeed. Great listen coming up on talkSPORT. It's talkSPORT 2 next. It's My Life in Boxing with Gareth A. Davis and Spencer Oliver. That'll be well worth a listen tonight. Our thanks to Chris as ever. Our thanks to Laura Turner, producer Matt, of course, here with us tonight. We will be back next Thursday night. Every week of the Premier League is live on the talkSPORT Darts YouTube channel. For all those watching on there, thanks a lot for getting involved. Please like and subscribe from us here. It is good night. It is another win for Luke Littler. Played 8 this year in terms of the rounds of the Premier League. He has won 4 of them. He is flying. The Nuke has done it in Newcastle. He has won it by beating Luke Humphries by 6 legs to 1. Good night. When it comes to the Darts Premier League, the last thing you want is an online mishap throwing you off your game. Threat Protection Pro helps you dodge bogus sites, and with a Dart Web Monitor you get a heads up if your personal info starts circulating in the online equivalent of the madhouse. Go to NordVPN.com/DartsVPN and get 2 years plus 4 months free and a birthday deal as well. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Good night from us all here. We'll see you next week for Premier League Darts live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel Darts.